Hey guys, it's Brianna from Briannalisaphotography, and welcome to my second episode of Brianna's Critiques, where I critique your photos and help you make them better as you grow as a photographer and as a model. Okay, so for today we have more photos from the previous episode, my first episode. We have more photos from the internet. I have no idea who these models and photographers are. And just a disclaimer, I mean no disrespect. I'm not trying to embarrass anybody. And yeah, this is just for entertainment purposes and to give my opinion and knowledge on what I have for photography, on how to make photos better for everyone, photographers and models. Okay, so we're gonna start off with this girl. She's sitting on a rock at the beach. And right now I love the lighting of this photo. I love how the sky is not overexposed. It's very blue. And yes. But what I see right now, I do not like her posing on the rocks. It's like a nice composition, but we can do better. If I was at this photo shoot, if I was a photographer at this photo shoot, I would have told her to stagger her legs a little bit or cross them because I can't see the other foot as much. And in a photograph, you want to be able to see all body parts of the model or the subjects or whoever you're taking photographs of. And I don't like how her shirt is open like that. It looks very unflattering and it just looks a little bit lazy. And those types of things are kind of hard to catch while you're in the moment and everything's happening so fast. You just snap, snap, snap. It is hard to catch stuff like that, but it would be a real bummer to download all your photos and be so excited to edit them when you found out that was such a simple mistake that you could have fixed the day of. Okay? And with her other hand, I would have put it up in her hair, something like this, maybe on her chest, instead of just hiding behind her leg or her back even. And I'm zooming in on the hand that's on the rock right here, and there's a watch. I usually don't, in my photo shoots, I don't let my clients have hair ties or any random stuff on like their wrists and things like that if it doesn't match the outfit. Now, I was at a couple shoot and the girl dressed in red and she had a red kind of wristband bracelet thing, and I was like, okay, well that matches. It looks fine. It looks like that was, planned, because it was. And if she had a black hair tie, I would have said, no, can you please take that off because it doesn't really look good in the photos. It just looks like a distraction, and it is a rookie mistake. I've been there so many times. I made that mistake, so trust me, I know what I'm talking about. So her face is a good expression, but on the right side of her face, it's dark, and I've been there. I've taken photos like that and at the beach. And what you want to do to fix that is have someone else stand, or you can set up, like a reflector on your own, like on a tripod or something like that. And you can put a reflector on that side so it shows at least a little bit of light from the sun bouncing off from the reflector onto the other side of the model's face, and it wouldn't be like a shadow like that. So that's all the critiques I have for this photo. And I feel like it would have been so much better that way. Okay, moving on to the next photo. It is this really cute couple, this kind of like middle-aged elderly couple right here, hugging and being intimate. But the first like red flag I kind of see in this photo is that they're squishing together. They have no space. Yes, it's very intimate, but you can also create intimacy with space. And if they gave each other a little bit of space, I would have maybe told them to put their foreheads together and just hold each other from both sides of the arm and just look at each other, like that with the eyes, or maybe with the eyes closed. But I don't like that I can't see her mouth, and that's very important in the photo. And his face looks very squished. And once again, I would have separated them because it does still create intimacy. It just depends on how you pose your couples. I never let any of my couples on my photo shoots pose necessarily like this. And the reason being is that the man's arm here is covering the photo. It's very closed off. So, and because of that, it looks very awkward, very posed. And it's just not very flattering. If they wanted to hug, I would have told the man to hug her from the side of the arm so you can still see his hand. And I would have told them to back up. And this little dot in the corner right here, I would have edited that out because you don't really need that there. I don't know where that came from, but the colors and the tones of this photograph is very, very nice. And I like the landscape kind of photo instead of like a portrait, even though I would have probably done portrait mode instead of landscape, but I do like the landscape in this type of scenario. Okay, so the next photo we have here is a girl doing 2 peace signs in the snow with her head covered up by an emoji. Now, looking at this, I feel like you will be able to say it is a bad photo, but we have to discuss why it's a bad photo. You can't just look at a photo and be like, oh, that's bad. We have to discuss why it's bad and how we can make it better. And the reason why it's bad is because I can tell that a filter, it probably was an Instagram filter, was used on this photo, and I wouldn't recommend that because Instagram filters cancel out all the work that you previously did to the photo, and it just cancels everything out and just mushes it all into one instead of having distinct details in the photo. And I wouldn't have just made my model stand there and do the peace sign, because why would you need to take professional photos to just stand there and do peace signs? If you're gonna do professional photos, make sure you actually do like poses, like act like people are gonna see these. These are professional photos, you're taking them for a reason. You're either gonna end up in an album that you want or a magazine almost, and you just don't want to be standing there like, especially with your face cut out, and that's very important as a model. Of course you want to see, of course people want to see your face as a model. And even if the person did not like their face in this photo, I would have just trashed it, because there's no reason taking professional photos and downloading them and posting them if you don't even like, if the photographer doesn't even like the model's face, like how they looked in that photo, or the model doesn't like it either. And right behind her are these lights, and they get really, really bright right behind her. And our eyes naturally go to the brightest part of the photograph. And you want your eyes to go directly to the subject. Nothing in the background, nothing in the foreground, distracting, you know, giving the attention away from your subject, or subjects, plural. It's just, I feel like the composition is a little off. I feel like she's not fully centered. And the posing I would have put her in is that I would have made her at least cross her legs, you know, put her hip out, have her arm here, arm there, arm here. And I would have probably made her lean up against something, or maybe would have turned her body to the side and do like a side portrait. I would have done things like that instead of just let her just stand there. And it looks very bland and very boring. I just, yeah. And this little light on the corner of the right side of the photo, I would have cropped that in because that is another distraction. Or if you want to keep it like that, you can just edit it out with your editor, no problem. Okay, so this next photo is this woman standing there, and it looks like she has a camera in her hand. Yeah, she has a camera in her hand. And this is a landscape photo. She has sunglasses on. I talked about the sunglasses and how I feel about sunglasses in photos in my last episode, so go check that out. And I just don't like how she's standing there. Again, you're taking professional photos, you know, act like You're doing something. You're taking professional photos for a reason and not just to stand there, because you could have taken that with an Android phone. You could have taken that with a flip phone. You don't need a professional camera to just stand there in the photo. I also don't like these two brown things right here. I don't know if there's a rocks or anything like that. I wouldn't have taken the photo there. I would have moved somewhere else, because those things are very distracting in the photo, especially since it's landscape. I look at the landscape first, then the subject. It shouldn't be that way. You should look at the subject first, then the beautiful landscape behind them. You shouldn't be drawn to random things in the photo when the subject is clearly standing right there. Her hair is up in this photo, and if the photographer has the tools to take out, you know, those flyaways and stuff like that, then I would do so. But if not, then I would have just grabbed another photo that looked better than this, because I'm sure that this was not the only photo that did have her hair up, but I'm pretty sure there were other photos that had her hair down when the wind wasn't blowing. And all this other white stuff in the background I see in the green area, I would have edited those out, because those are other distractions. And the way I would change her posing is to maybe turn to the side, you know, pretend to be taking a photo with her camera, maybe hold her camera in her hand, you know, do something candid, something active with the photo and with her posing to make it look like she's actually doing something, instead of just being bored standing there with her hand by her side. And I would have cleaned up her pants and her floor. I would have cleaned up everything, you know, made everything look nice and tidy. And that's all the corrections and critiques I have for this photo. Okay guys, so the next photo we're going to be critiquing is this girl. Looks like she's a runner, looks like she's jogging, you know, getting her daily exercise in. You know, she's getting her daily exercise in, and what I don't like, what I see right off the bat is this glare right on her left side of her chest. Glares look good in some scenarios of photos, like at the beach and by the water and stuff like that, but other than that, it doesn't necessarily look good. And usually the glares look good from behind the head, and they give the subject's face a bit of a shadow, like a moody and kind of like natural light shadow. But I just really didn't see the reason for having a glare there, and sometimes that is a mistake from the camera when it's too bright. When it's too bright that day and you have specks in your camera and it shows up. It has happened to me a couple times, and when I see that, I just automatically trash the photos if I cannot retouch them in post-editing. And other than that, I would have backed up the photo a little bit more, because she is cropping a little bit of the feet out. I would love to see a little bit of the ground that she's standing on and then the feet, instead of just cutting the photo right there at the feet. I feel like it would have been so much better. And I don't like how the glare is covering a little bit of her face. And that's honestly it about this photo. That's all the critiques I have. Now onto this next photo is a picture of these two girls playing, it looks like it's San Francisco, California, with a bridge in the back. And the first thing I noticed about this landscape photo is that the people in the background are very distracting. On all of my photo shoots, I try so hard not to get anybody in the background, in the foreground, to the sides of my models. I try my very best. I'm in public places. I take photos in public places right now, out in public with the natural light and everything. And it's just, I wouldn't, if I was a model and I was receiving photographs from a photographer, I wouldn't want to have random strangers photobombing my photos. And that's just facts, because that's not very professional, and it's like, what are you really paying for? It just looks very lazy, and I would have waited till they left, or I would have picked a different spot, or if a photographer has the necessary tools to edit photo bombers out, I would do that, because other than that, this photo would have been fine, because The two girls are in frame, but I don't like how this photographer cut off this girl's knees on the floor. I really wish it would have been pulled back a little bit to show the full body, and also to show the full body for the girl on the right here. I would have wished her full toes and full feet would have showed up in the photo, and I wish she would have been doing something with her hands or something like that. But other than that, this photo was very well done because the sky is not overexposed and everything else looks good. It's a good landscape photo, but the things in it, you know, it's just not going on well for me. Okay, so that's all I had for my second episode of Brianna's Critiques, and if you want to subscribe to my channel, please do so to see more of me critique photos. And if you want me to critique my own photos in the future, please subscribe and leave a like down below. And if you want a chance to be featured in one of my future episodes, please email me the photos you want me to critique at briannalisaphotography@outlook.com. And if you're watching this on Instagram, if you want a chance to be in my next episode, swipe up and send me your photos that you want me to critique, and give me a like if you want me to critique my own photos. And if you're on Instagram, please swipe up and tell me that you want me to critique my own photos in future episodes. Bye guys.